Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Well, I am in Alaska, and so it's raining, of course, and rainy, and I am here with Megan and Alex.
Yep.
And together you are Roamlander, correct? On YouTube?
Actually, we are Slow Roamers now.
Slow Roamers now.
Roamlander is my old business name, and we have since changed to Slow Roamers.
Okay, well, you and I just happened to be in Alaska at the same time. And I really enjoy your channel a lot. And so I had seen your channel and I wanted to get together with you because you got such a great setup. And so, Megan, you don't particularly want to be on the video.
Usually ever.
So we'll just let you go. We'll just so you could say hi to the camera. And you two travel together?
Yep. Yeah,
so,
this is actually my van.
So you love living in a van?
Yes.
You're here because this is the life you want.
Absolutely.
Folks, we're on the Knik River, which is just north of Anchorage, Alaska. That's the Knik Glacier. Hope you can see that back there, Knik Glacier. It's not very clear on this day, and it's just a beautiful place, isn't it? So, Alex, how long have you guys been in your van?
Probably about 2 years now. We took a little bit of a hiatus to completely rebuild the van. But yeah, it's been about 2 years now that we've been traveling full time. And
you seem to like it?
Absolutely. I wouldn't do it any other way. I love it.
Very cool. And why did the two of you decide to move into a van? And you're traveling the world, really?
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually on our way down. Well, we're on our way up to Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. And then from there, we're going to start and go all the way down the Pan American Highway, which is about 19,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers to Patagonia.
The first question almost everyone has is, how are you supporting yourself? You're young, you're not on Social Security, or you're Canadian.
Yep.
So, of course, Canada probably actually has a little better system, but you're still too young.
Yeah, we both work online. We took jobs that basically just get us by. Yeah, I think our monthly budget is about $2,500 US.
Wow.
For how much we move around, and we make just a little bit over that, so we're able to have some money for incidentals or going out and having a meal, and we're making a little bit of money on our YouTube as well. So,
and you're on social media. You're on YouTube. So.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell all the folks where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, it's really easy. You can find us on Slow Roamers over Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and our website is all just Slow Roamers. We do travel content. I kind of try and focus on, the beauty that surrounds us. We're out here, yes, to experience things, but we're also here to see really beautiful places. And I think there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have the same opportunities that we do. And I kind of like to bring people in and show them what's around. And we kind of do the off-road van life thing as well.
All right, so tell us all about your van.
Okay, so we'll start off with her name. Her name is Betty. This was a name that Meg gave her van. Her previous van was Shirley. So Betty is a 2006 Chevy Express 2500. It was just a cargo van, I'm pretty sure, for a plumbing company. Well, actually, Meg did the first build out in the van, and it was a really beautiful build out, but it wasn't really great for two people living in there. So we did Betty 2.0, as we call it, and then this is 3.0, and we added a high roof. We lifted the van, put bigger tires on it. So I built front and rear bumpers, and then I did a whole interior in this inside, and everything was geared towards doing the Pan American Highway. So we wanted to have enough food storage, water storage, self-recovery, just comfort and stuff like that, so that we can get out of the elements when we need to and into the elements when we want to. Yeah, it has pretty much everything that we need inside to live comfortably on the road for very, very long periods of time.
Wow, you have really done an astonishing job. It is really beautiful in here. Tell me all about it.
Well, with the high top that we got from a company called High Top Vans in Washougal, we got a lot more vertical space, which was really important because I'm a tall guy, and having just a low roof, my back was completely destroyed after one season of traveling. Meg is now able to stand fully inside, and I can get my back straight, which is kind of like the main point. And we didn't go for like a higher roof because we want to be able to fit the van inside of a container. Before, our bed was a lot lower and we just had basic storage on the sides, but with the extra height, I could put our bed up higher and then build a lot of storage down low, and then put, of course, like cabin tray on the side. Everything is built out of 5/8 Baltic birch ply, and then I used as much natural wood as I could. So a lot of like the trim and stuff like that, the countertops, is actually like maple that was cut and milled on my parents' property. And my dad was gracious enough to hand over a bunch of it to me to make countertops and trim out of, which is really cool. And then our handles are driftwood from the island that we live on. Yeah, so we have like little hints of home and lots of natural wood. So it's very like cabiny and homey in here. So this is a tiny stove from a company called Tiny Stove, and it is Swiss. I was up in Alaska in 2017 and I met a Swiss couple on the Denali Highway. And after that, Andres went back home and he started a company making tiny stoves. And this is actually a prototype model. I told him that we were building a van and I needed a tiny stove, and he sent this to me. And it's the very, very first model that ever came out on the production line. And it's tiny. It's quite small, but it keeps us warm. It's great for free heat. I have a battery powered chainsaw on the back that I can go and cut logs, and they're usually about 4 inches by 2 inches or so. We might get like half an hour of burning out of one of those logs, but it'll get the interior up to like a comfortable 75 degrees or 25 degrees Celsius. It's great because if you want to sit for a long period of time in a colder climate, and you don't want to run like a diesel heater or propane heater or something like that, and you have wood, it's just free.
And your couch must pull forward?
Yeah, so this, I actually kind of copied a Westphalia like pull-out bed. So it just becomes like I think it's not quite a double bed. It's like a super single. It's 4 feet by 6.5 feet. And we can sleep quite comfortably on it, and it sets up in less than 5 minutes. And then of course it stores away, so we have this really comfortable sitting space. And Meg works here. I work in the chair up front that spins, and it becomes like a really easy to live in space for long periods of time. Our kitchen is kind of on both sides.
Right.
We have like a little flip up kind of table here. We don't use this very often because it's a little narrow, but Meg does most of her prep here and here. And then we have a 2-burner propane stove here that is really fantastic. This is just an Amazon find. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Meg does a lot of cooking and baking, believe it or not, in here. We have like a Omni Oven that goes on top, and she just last night she made carrot cake for us. She also travels with a sourdough starter, so she'll make like sourdough bread and stuff like that, and it's been great. It's been really wonderful. It makes the space feel a lot more like home, like we're just living instead of living in a van. We do have a sink in here. However, we don't use the sink because we only use our faucet to fill up water bottles and like wash dishes. And because we only have 18 gallons of water on board, or roughly 60 liters, we're quite conscious of the amount of water that we use. We have our water system, so it's 3 jerry cans, and I just put them on quick connects so I can just quickly change over from one to the other. It's quite easy, just like that. And that is just a garden quick connect. And then all the water goes through a 2-stage filter. It's like a 5 micron and a 0.02 micron filter. So we don't really worry about the quality of the water that we put in those. We've filled up in rivers and in like little streams before. Up front, as you can see, we've got a swivel base on our chair here, and this is like my my workspace. I spend so much time in this chair right here, editing videos and working and stuff like that. But it's been so good because I get out of the way, and then Meg can be in the kitchen, you know, standing up straight and moving around freely. This is a Lagun style table that I welded a bracket to the B pillar and then just mounted it right on the B pillar. So, you know, I can get in and out quite easy, and we can even have an outdoor table if we want to. We put our refrigerator right in the middle of the seats. So, you know, we can get cold drinks, or Meg can make sandwiches while we're driving. Probably the only downside that I think there is to having a refrigerator in the center is that there is heat that comes from the transmission right underneath. It means that this cycles a lot.
I'm assuming you have solar?
Yeah, we have 330 watts on the roof. We're using a company called Solar. They're based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Phil, the owner, he's done a great job of offering up fairly affordable solar components to Canadians at roughly like Renogy prices, which is good. And he's engineered some pretty cool stuff. Like we have a 200 amp hour battery, lithium battery, but it is in the footprint of a 100 amp hour battery. And then we have just a 1500 watt inverter charger, so we can plug into shore power and charge our house battery. But aside from all of that, we just have a DC-DC MPPT charger, 40 amp. That's been really good for charging on the road. I just have it hooked up to the starting battery. It's isolated. It's on an ignition switch. So as soon as I turn on the van, that's when it starts up. Otherwise, it isolates the house and the starting battery.
Well, why don't we take a look outside?
Yeah, for sure. Probably the first thing that a lot of people have noticed is how tall it is, and it's on the big tires. So we like to do some off-roading. I come from a pretty lengthy off-roading background, and the van is two-wheel drive, but we have a very reliable limited slip in the rear diff. But we've put a 3-inch Weldtech design spindle lift on, which all it does is it drops the front spindle down 3 inches, giving you like loads and loads of clearance up front, lots of clearance for bigger tires. So we have roughly a 33-inch or a 285/75/16 tire on the van. Last winter, we upgraded the rear springs and the rear axle while we were in Phoenix. So we put a like a progressive leaf spring with a 3-inch lift, and I think it's a 5,000 pound load capacity, which has been great because the van is very heavy.
Right.
And then I went to a wrecking yard and got a Dana Super 70 HD3 full floating rear axle in the backs that has a 7,500 pound load capacity. So it's a super heavy duty rear axle, and with the limited slip and the weight of the van, we just get tons and tons of traction. So we've been able to go to a lot of places with just a two-wheel drive van. The only thing that we wish we had was a transfer case, just so we can get lower gearing, but I guess we don't want to do that much off-roading with our house. The exterior paint is Raptor liner. We did the whole van because if you know anything about Chevys, they had a few years where their primer or base coat or something like that wasn't very good, and all of the paint just peels off. And we had that on this van. So I scraped as much paint off as I could, sanded it all down, and we did the whole thing in Raptor liner just because we see a lot of bushes and trees and stuff like that. We did the high top, which again is from a company called High Top Vans. It's actually our friends Micah and Lindsay. They're in Washougal, Washington. They're kind of like the more affordable end of high top vans. So if you're looking to do a van or like a high top or anything like that, check them out. They're really great people, and they'll get your van in and out in a day, granted that it doesn't have a full build on the inside. Let them know the Slow Roomers came, and I think you get a bit of a discount. We put a lot of extra windows in the van. This used to be one big glass window, but we wanted to get as much ventilation in the van as possible. So I took out the window, I put aluminum in here, and then bought this old RV window and put that in so we can open this up. Our most recent addition was this window because we wanted cross breeze across the bed. So this one opens up nice and wide, and now we get like way more ventilation in the bed area. This is just a basic old like pickup truck aluminum storage box that I mounted on its side. So it's nothing special. It has our 20-pound propane cylinder in there, our flue pipe, some recovery gear, more recovery gear, and fluids and grease and stuff. So basically, I'm able to get all of our stinky, smelly, oily stuff out of the interior of the van and have it on the outside. As well, I don't have to worry about venting the propane to the outside. I just have a vent on the bottom. It's on a swing out, so I can swing the whole thing away from the doors. I built a ladder right onto the swing out so that I can reach the solar panels if I need to clean them. And also I've made the solar panels so they tilt. We have a full-size spare on the back, and every single oil change I rotate one spare in so we get, you know, roughly 20% more out of our tires. I'll open up the swing outs here. One thing I'll mention as well is our propane cylinder is on a remote ball valve. And I think that a lot of people don't know about this, and it's a great safety feature. So I can actually turn on the gas from the inside with the 12-volt switch. And it opens up a little ball valve that's mounted right on the top of the propane cylinder. And then gas is allowed to come in. And then when I turn off that switch, it's what's called a normally closed ball valve. So it just automatically goes back and closes off the gas. So there's no gas flowing into the van ever unless I flick that switch. So back here is our storage. It's really like any other van storage, just a bunch of stuff. We've got a really big compressor here just to fill up our tires. And then I've got enough tools to take apart most things. A lot of people ask me about this bumper and where I got it. I've built everything on the van, so the front and rear bumpers are built by me. Inside we have a 10,000-pound winch that has already winched us out of a sticky situation.
Megan and Alex, I really appreciate your sharing your van home with us. It's really amazing, really wonderful. You've done a great job of making a home in a beautiful van. And if people want to follow you and get to know you a little better, how can they reach you?
Yeah, everything is just on Slow Roamers. That's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and our website is all Slow Roamers.
Very good. So everyone go check out their YouTube channel and all their social media. I think you'll be really, really, really glad you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So folks, if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.